planted.
Destabilizing. Making
Dizzy's up top! Dizzy has targets.
Reloading. Reloading. Stop focusing.
Stay down. One enemy remaining. Clutch.
I didn't bring a snack. Did anyone bring a snack?
Generals that took control of their nation years ago and have carried out countless atrocities against the people they swore to safeguard. Their leader, General Ming Aung Hlaing, vows gruesome retribution against those who dare to oppose him, and
Planting.
Spike planted.
Here, catch!
One enemy remaining.
My buddy's defusing. Que padre! My little guy did it! Reloading!
Now they are nervous.
Eyes open. Right here.
Spike planted.
No peeking.
Cállate. No chance. My ult is ready. No distraction. Wingman's defusing. My wingman's down.
One enemy remaining.
Right here. Appreciate it. Is it off? It's off.
Let's blow them over.
Oh shite, I lost my pet rock.
You should run. That's a kill.
Spike planted.
Next. down.
Wine.
One enemy remaining. Last player standing.
No charges left.
And relies on the world's ignorance of his nation's real as he pleases. On the other side is nothing short of a
Win.
rebel alliance.
Show me where to go.
A collection of resistance armies, insurgent militias, and ordinary people taking up arms in defense of their families and communities. The tip of their spear, a tripartite rebel army known as the Three Brotherhood Alliance, has taken much of the country by storm, turning what was once a patchwork of fruitless local insurgencies into a force that could very well topple its enemy. At the time of writing, it's the waning
Right here.
Like I never left! Or die! The hunt begins!
Show me a target.
Spike planted.
Target down.
Last player
You're
standing.
finished. My ult is ready.
beginning days of August 2024, and the rebels are moving toward with the military junta defeated in the countryside and running scared from the sorts of major bases that a year ago it seemed impossible that
Trust
the
me,
rebels
they will make mistakes. When they do, take advantage.
Come on, Gecko. Let's get it.
I've got your trail.
Enemy mid. No distraction.
Spike planted.
Fucking god, bro.
would ever capture Ming Ong Hlang and his
Last player
running
standing.
out of places to hide, and the table is now set for what will be
And they
a
stopped
final
her.
showdown in the coming months. So in this special episode of Kings, into a force that could very well topple its enemy. At the time of writing, it's the waning days of August 2024, and the
Every
rebels
fight
are
is a
moving.
lesson.
Reloading!
moving toward their endgame. With the military junta
Right here.
Here.
Let's go. Neutralized.
One enemy remaining.
defeated in the countryside and running scared from the sorts of major bases that a year ago it seemed impossible that the rebels would ever capture, Ming Aung Hlaing and his dictatorship are running out of places to hide, and the table is now set
Teleport's
for
ready.
what will be a final showdown in the coming months. So in this special episode today, we're going to prepare for that showdown and explore both the stunning victories and the lasting obstacles of the resistance that can sense just how close it is to taking its country back. At the outset of this special episode today, we've got to make one thing clear. Although the rebels of Myanmar are fighting against a
30
brutal
seconds
military
left.
dictatorship, this is not so clear-cut good guy against clear-cut bad guy. For the sake of time, we're not going to be launching into the long history of the conflict today or the generations-old insurgencies that preceded it, and we won't be doing an in-depth exploration of either the ruling military junta or the country's various resistance groups beyond what is needed to
10 seconds
understand
left.
the conflict's current
Spike
state.
planted.
If you'd like a longer deep dive into the Myanmar conflict, please do let us know in the comments, and we would be glad to oblige if the interest is there. But for now, we just ask that you take us at our word when we say this is a deeply complex civil war in a deeply complex nation. Every organization
Race it to the
involved
spike site.
has its own...
Bonne chance, mes amis.
You should run.
Show me a target.
Spike planted.
Hat your wished. Somebody's there. Have a kip.
One enemy remaining.
That's three. My ult is ready.
own story, has its own reasons for believing and acting as it does, and has its fair share of skeletons in the closet. That includes the ruling junta, but it also includes the rebels, despite what many around the world see quite fairly as the nobility of their higher cause. Myanmar's civil war is being fought between the ruling junta and quite literally hundreds of militias, most of whom are organized along ethnic or geographic lines. But for the sake of simplicity,
Come on then!
Stand aside. Someone's there.
we're going to sort them into three core categories today. The junta, the Three Brotherhood Alliance, and the others. The military junta ruling Myanmar is, as we said before, organized under the command of General Min Aung
One enemy
came to
remaining.
power in 2021 after a coup d'etat that overthrew the nation's indirectly elected state chancellor, the Nobel laureate, and fellow complicated individual Aung San Suu Kyi. Based in the capital city of Naypyidaw in the heart of Myanmar, the junta rules by force, relying on the national military, known as the Tatmadaw, to assert control in the cities and in the countryside. They also draw support from various ethnic militias that rally to the junta's cause. The Tatmadaw is organized, at least in its own ideal world, in a staggered structure. It maintains major military bases and complete...
I've got your trail.
The hunt begins. Adapt or die!
Spike planted.
Enemy here. Not enough.
Last player standing.
Ult's ready.
You know, I could just outlive them.
Nah, bullets are quicker.
I need a gun. Thank you. They are so dead.
Let's
Control
fly.
over the biggest cities. It stations regional commands in each area of the
Enemy mid.
Fucking God, bro. Jesus gay.
country. It keeps the countryside dotted with a range of smaller military bases in and around towns, and in the rural areas it stations troops at countless outposts and checkpoints. Between the junta's ever-present troops all across the nation and their long-running use of indiscriminate air
Spike
raids
down,
and shelling
mid.
against civilian populations who are perceived to be dissident, they've been able to keep control over their nation until recently. Then there are the members of the Three Brotherhood Alliance, who we'll be referring to as the 3BHA.
Last player standing.
The 3 and the 3BHA refers to the trio of founding members within the alliance. The Iraqi Army, the Myanmar National Democratic Alliance Army, or MNDAA, and the Ta'ang National Liberation Army, whom, to spare you an acronym, we'll just refer to as the Ta'ang from here on forward. The three groups got together in 2019.
Spike planted.
All three were waging separate battles against the Tatmadaw well before their
One enemy remaining.
Although the three
Last
were,
player
at that
standing.
time, getting a bit worse than they were giving from the Tatmadaw, they were able to coordinate their attacks and stabilize the regions where they were.
Last round in the half.
Use everything you have. We lose it anyway.
Were fighting after they banded together. After the coup, they didn't declare war on the junta right away, instead consolidating their territory and training thousands of troops while making inroads with other resistance groups, especially in the cities. During that time, they stood by and watched while the junta spread itself thin while fighting various ethnic militias from other parts of Myanmar until they seized their moment to strike. On the
Not bad.
Enemy mid.
You should run.
Prepare for hellfire!
Oops.
Spike planted.
And you're done. Blew him up, Mosh.
One. One death.
One enemy remaining.
No easy night for you, wee man.
Nice, bro. Let's go.
Well done.
Switching sides.
Forgive me about
Extended. What happened?
The 27th of October 2023, the 3BHA launched Operation 1027, a massive assault on the junta that continues to this day. Finally, there are the others, the many militias and armies fighting for their own aims but fundamentally in
Over
opposition
there.
to the junta.
zero in. Over there. Over there.
Some of them have been fighting
Focusing. Stopping fire.
No peeking.
Somebody there.
Reloading.
the Junta for decades, while others recently started. Some are so small as to comprise only a
Last
few dozen
player
fighters,
standing.
while others can field an army in the tens of thousands. Like the rest of their nation, they are long accustomed to asymmetric warfare, operating in the jungles and the hills where the Junta's heavy equipment can't reach. Among the most prominent are the Karen National Liberation Army, the Kachin Independence Army, the Chin Brotherhood Alliance, the Heo National Liberation Army, and more. Representing most of them, along with the 3BHA, are the National Unity Government.
You know what we should do? I'll tell you. We should win.
A government in exile that lives and works in hiding inside Myanmar. And handles both internal affairs between the militias and foreign relations with the governments of other nations eager to support an alternative to the ruling junta. Although none of these other groups were formally a part of Operation 1027, many of them have seized on the moment or have taken their cues to open new offensives of their own, rallying alongside the 3BHA to put pressure on the junta from all angles. Since the start of Operation 1027,
Last
the
player
relative
standing.
unity between the major members
Spike
of the
down,
resistance
B.
has led to a cascade of defeats for the junta.
Teleport's ready.
Viewers of our ongoing weekly series, The Situation Room, make sure you're subscribed, will already know the pattern that we're about to describe. But for those who are unfamiliar, the Civil War has settled into a consistent rhythm. To understand it, though, you need to understand a couple of things about the
If you are not doing well, keep trying. We must keep up appearances.
Hatmador loyal to the junta and specifically their troops. Most of those troops are somewhat lacking in training, many are lacking in fighting discipline or experience, and by and large, they typically prefer
Let's go.
to live to tomorrow instead of dying for their country today. What that has meant for this current phase of the conflict
Someone's there.
Over there.
Dropping smokes. Reloading.
The hunt begins.
Reloading! Breaking them. Destabilize them.
One down. Have one of these.
Trap destroyed. Spotted B.
Spike planted.
Flank, flank.
Blocking sight. Blocking sight.
Last player standing.
is that the junta's troops are generally open to the idea of retreat or even surrender, and when they have a good understanding of the idea that whatever target they're supposed to defend is probably going to fall one way or the other, then they're usually pretty happy to leave town rather than see the fight play itself out. This grand rhythm then goes something like this. Junta troops in a certain part of the country are scattered around between innumerable small hard...
just hug it out? Pinche Radiant.
To defend outposts, hear rumors that the rebel army in their area has been blazing through outposts without much trouble. So, when they hear word that the rebels are coming, they pick up their stuff, pile into the customary...
Sarap ng kain mo all day. Kaya lang, ang toxin buildup, di okay. Drink Del Monte Fiber Enriched Nightly to help cleanse your tummy. It has added fiber that aids in digestion. Get into the Del Monte Fiber Habit Nightly. Good morning.
This is the iPad Pro M4 killer. That's right. This is the all-new Huawei MatePad Pro.
Toyotas and...
Enemy A. Enemy A.
One enemy remaining.
Dying would have sucked. I hate to say it, but probably best to play as a team. So, what's the plan?
Jeeps that you'd expect to find in any nation's countryside during a civil war, and get the hell out before the rebels show up. Then, once that process repeats itself enough times that most of the outposts are vacated, the rebels will show that they can consistently take the next biggest target. Let's say the small bases outside so many of Myanmar.
They are so dead.
Oh boy.
Towns. Next time the rebels come calling, the troops on whichever base is in their crosshairs are probably going to pick up invincible Toyotas and Jeeps.
Spike down,
Get the hell
mid.
out. The same process repeats at the next highest level, the local major bases, and then at the level of regional command centers, and eventually the hardest
Last
targets
player
the
standing.
cities and the core military bases. Right now, the rebels are climbing that ladder, consistently able to take over the biggest local bases and demonstrating that they can bring down the regional command centers. The
Last
Junta
player
has taken
standing.
major losses, including major numbers of fatalities for its troops, but often the Tatmadaw will withdraw rather than fight, even when they're leaving behind weapons, heavy fighting equipment, supplies, and resistance prisoners. Or, as happened many times, they'll surrender en masse, in the hundreds, including
30
even the
seconds
generals
left.
unlucky enough to get posted to regional. They'll surrender en masse, fighting equipment, supplies, and resistance prisoners. Or, as happened many times, they'll surrender en masse, in the hundreds, including even the generals unlucky enough to get posted to regional defense. Morale among Junta troops in the countryside is at an all-time low. Resistance experts rooting them out and forcing them to retreat is at an all-time high. Rebels have captured border checkpoints, they've established arrangements with neighbor nations. And they've set up local government infrastructure in the territory they control. Meanwhile, the Junta, despite their better equipment, simply lacks the means or the will to carry out a counteroffensive. They're being pushed back continually, squeezed into a smaller and smaller corner until, hopefully, from the rebels' perspective,
Stay safe.
the pressure becomes too much to bear. As of now, the colourful map of control in Myanmar is something that the New York Times described best this past April, quoting them, a
Enemy mid. My ult is ready. No distractions.
They found my trap.
I've got your trail.
Enemy spotted. Defender spawn.
Our spike carrier is killed.
Spike down, B. Last player standing.
kaleidoscopic array of competing influences, fiefs, democratic havens, and drug lord hideouts. The Junta
30
controls
seconds left.
a decent portion of the country, including a critical stretch of land joining the three largest cities, Yangon, Mandalay, and Naypyidaw. But according to one economist, that accounts for just 14% of Myanmar's territory, and just 1/3 of its population in areas that are under Junta
Just let
control.
them
The
try
rest
to
is
catch me.
overtaken. The Karen National Liberation Army and the Karenni control much of the border with China. The Arakan Army, a member of the 3BHA, controls the entire border with Bangladesh. The Chin and the People's Defence Force control much of the border with India, or while the Kachin, the Ta'ang, and the MNDAA and the autonomous region of Wa State, which quite frankly is its own weird little thing we'll be absolutely discussing some other time, all split the border.
Spike down, mid.
The hunt begins.
Trap destroyed.
Last player standing. Flawless.
With Myanmar's critical next-door neighbor, China. The junta controls some territory in the north, some near the border with Laos,
Match
and some
point.
on Myanmar's long southward stretch of coastline. But each of those patches of territory are soon to be cut off, encircled, and either kept isolated or taken outright. In fact, some of them might already have fallen to the rebels by the time you see this video. If the junta is going to hold out anywhere, it's in those 3 key cities that we mentioned.
This is gonna be fun.
Before, supported by the massive military installations that dot the landscape in that area. This is the junta's power base. Right now, it's a hard-shelled nut that the resistance is trying to figure out how to crack.
Spike down.
It's never not a
B.
good time to emphasize just how impressive Myanmar's rebels have already been. They've taken incredible amounts of territory.
Last
They've
player
largely invaded to run a somewhat coordinated
Flawless.
insurgency without killing each other,
Defenders win.
and they're gaining in power every single day. But with respect to the stunning showing the rebels have put on so far, and with respect to the staggering number of lives that have already been lost, the truth remains. What the Rebel Alliance just did is the easy part. Taking the cities, along with the junta's major military bases, is a prospect that introduces a whole new level of challenge. Part of the problem is just simple maths. After all, many junta troops have been retreating from so many outposts and bases, then from so many directions, they're all just streaming into consolidated defensible points where holding out's going to be a lot easier. The regime has a proper nation's worth